Howdy, this is Mark from Wiki Design. Today's video, I'm going to cover Google My Maps and why you should be using this on all of your websites. So the first question you may be asking is, what is Google My Maps and why is it different than a regular Google map or a WordPress plugin that supports Google Maps? The major reason why I highly recommend using Google My Maps is because you don't have to worry about Google's API limitations anymore. So basically that means you can use this Google My Maps and not have to enter in your credit card number or anything like that in case you go over their limitations. So this is a completely free platform that gives you tons of options and is actually really, really cool. And it's all built into Google. So you don't have to worry about installing any other plugins or anything like that. So I'll give you a quick overview of a map that we recently created for our website. We wanted to be able to add custom markers and information when you click on each one. So in this example, we added this image, title, and we were able to have a link to our blog. So the cool thing about this platform is it's completely responsive, so it would look really good on mobile. They have this full screen button, so the user's going to be able to go to full screen. So there's a lot of cool options in here. There are a little bit of limitations, but it's really hard to reach them. So for example, each map can have up to 10,000 different lines, shapes, or places. So if you plan to have over 10,000 markers, this platform might not work for you. And there is a limitation of 10 layers. So you can see right here, each one of these is a layer, so you can only do the 10 different layers. So just keep those two things in mind. You'll probably never hit those limitations, but there are some limits on here. So now I'm going to walk you through step by step all the different features that you can do with this tool. Okay, once you're logged into your Google My Maps dashboard, you're going to see a screen very similar to this. So the first step you need to do is create a new map. Once you create that, add a new title name and a description if you need to. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is just get a little familiarized with the interface, but it's really, really simple. So the first thing you need to do is assign everything that you're going to be doing to a layer. So we just call this test layer 1, whatever it may be. So like I said, you can have up to 10 layers. So you want to make sure that you are organized from the beginning, because you don't want to have to click and drag the markers around after you have all these different layers and stuff. So that's step one, is get your layers in order and then add your markers next. Okay, so after you have your layers created, now you're going to want to create your first marker. To do that, you just click up here, it says add marker, and zoom into the area where you'd like the marker placed. So in this example, I'll just click here. It's as simple as that. So once you have that, change this title, marker 1, and description, we're just throwing the word test for now. So you click save, and if you look over here underneath your layers, you can see the new marker appeared underneath the layer that you had selected. That's why I highly recommend you create all your layers first, then you add your markers inside your layers. So once that marker is created, you can now go in and edit the way it looks and be able to add some photos. So you click the paint bucket here, and when you do that, they give you these options of these colors that you can choose for the markers. So they give you quite a few different colors. So let's say I want this one to be black. And you can click down here where it says more icons. And you can actually, if you don't want just the generic marker, you can go in and click on anything that you're liking here. And if you happen to have custom branded icons or anything like that, you could actually upload it through here. That's really cool. So let's say I just want to add this one. So you could see that's now appearing as the marker. So you can see when you're zoomed out, you could definitely see how it looks. So when you go in here and you add your text, and let's say you need to add a link to something, you have to add the direct link that you need. They don't give you options to hyperlink text or anything like that. This is mainly for phishing scams and stuff like that. So you want the user to be able to see what they're clicking on. So you're going to have to link directly to any URL that you need. So once you do that, you just click save, and now you can see that is a hyperlink. And let's say you want to add some photos. They give you options. You can upload your own photos if you have photos saved to Google Drive. In this situation, I just clicked on Google image search. So if you don't have anything, you can literally use Google to pull the images. And let's say I want to add that one. You hit select, and now I have an image. They allow you to add multiple images. So I would add, a few if you wanted in here. I wouldn't go more than just a handful because you don't want your users to sit there and just scroll through these photos. So just add a few photos if you like. Click save, and that's it for the markers. So you can add, like I said, tons of different markers for each layer. So the next thing I'll show you are the line and shape tools. Okay, and the next tool I want to show you are the shape and line tool. So let's start with the line. So if you need to draw a line, you could do that right here with this tool. So the way it works is you just click on the points where you need to add a line path. So in this example, let's just say I want to go down here and end it right there. So whenever you're done with your path and you want to stop the route, you just click on this marker right here, the very last point. And now you're going to have a new layer that is just a line. So let me just name this, throw in the word test. And this is pretty similar to the marker that we created right here, just without a few extra options. So same thing, you can click on this right here and you'll be able to change the color of the path. And now they give you this tool right here, the line width. So this, of course, is going to be your stroke. So you can increase it really large or you can have it very small. I recommend going somewhere kind of in the middle. I would zoom out, just see how big it is when the user zoomed out. So this is going to be a case by case on how wide you need it, but you can go in there at any point and edit the width. And you can click this edit button if you need to edit the title and description, just like the marker. And that's really about it you can do with the line tool. So the shape tool is the same thing, but instead of finishing on its own path over here, you have to reconnect it to the beginning. So let me show you how to do that. Same thing, you just click that, and let's say I want to just add a fill of this area right here. So whenever you're done with your shape, you need to always go back to your start point. So once you do that, you're going to see it has a fill and now a stroke. So now you can go in here, just call this shape and description, and it's the same features as the line tool. It just adds this extra thing right here, transparency. So you can, whatever color you have, you can tell how transparent it's going to be. So, this is, again, of course, going to vary, but I would zoom out just to make sure it looks okay. So something like that, and same thing. It's you can edit the title and description whenever you need. And if you want to add photos, you can do that too, just like the other, just like the marker. So same settings are in there. So these are really cool cases if you need to just show like a path or an area. One limitation I've noticed is if you have this on, the user won't be able to click any hotspots below it. So the user is going to have to know to kind of go in there and turn that off. So I don't really recommend using the shape tool that much, just because it can get in the way and users might not, they might want to be able to click on stuff underneath it. So if you have a good use case for that, go ahead and use it. But okay, the next thing I'll show you are the direction tool. Okay, the next tool I want to show you is driving directions. So same dialog box, you can go here and you can select between driving, biking, or walking. So let's say I want to add a driving route, so the user knows how to get from one destination to another. So once you do that, you'll notice that it adds a new layer over here. So let's say I want to start at point A and end over here. So what you do is you wait for the blue line to finish rendering, because it's trying to determine the best route in real time. So it's a little bit laggy. So when you're done, you just click here. You can even zoom in to make sure you're locked on to an intersection. So you click that point right there, and now you'll see right here, you have a point A and a point B. So this will always be added as a new layer. So like I said in the beginning of the video, you only have 10 layers. So you have to make sure that you don't go crazy adding a whole bunch of directions because you're going to run out of your layer limitation. So you don't have any options to edit this line, unfortunately. The only option you have is being able to repoint A and B and go in here and rename the layer. That's the only functionality they give you. So that's the driving tool. The next tool is the ruler tool. This is just kind of give you how far destinations are from one point to another. So it's just for reference. It's not adding any layers or anything. So you can just, if you for some reason want to figure out how far it is from one street to the other, it kind of gives you a rough estimate. So you can see this whole path is, 3 miles long. So it does that, and just kind of, it's just a reference point. It doesn't add anything over here. So the next thing I'll show you is the preview tool, how to change the default view, and how you can embed this onto your website. Okay, once you're done adding all of your markers, lines, shapes, all of that stuff, what you can do at any moment is click this preview button. So this is going to open up the preview of how it's going to look once it's embedded on your website. So this is kind of like a good snapshot of how everything looks and functions, so you can make sure everything works before you embed it on your website. So once you go back to your edit tool, there's a few things that you may want to set before you embed your base map. So if you click down here, you can switch between any of these pre-selected base maps. I found in most cases I just keep the default map. Most people are used to this map. The next thing that you want to make sure you set is your default view. So this is going to, just like it says, set your default view when you embed on your website. So if you want to make sure that you have a viewport with all of your markers, you want to go ahead, zoom out a little bit, and click set view map. You don't want to be like, way out here and click default map, because then the user is going to have to click and zoom. So I would do it somewhere around that, where your main markers are always kind of front and center. So click that button, and that's it. The next step is to now embed it. So you can click this hamburger and embed on my site. So you're going to realize you get this error message. So what this means is this map is not public. So in order to make it public, you have to click the share button. And once you click the share button, you click this right here where it says private, and now you can select on. So the minute you do that, this map is now live. So go in here, click done, and go back to your embed on my website. So that's it. You grab this code and you embed it on your website. And it's as simple as that. And the cool part about this tool is anytime you need to make updates to your map, you do it in this panel. So once you embed your embedded code once, you don't have to touch it again. Any edits you do will show up within a few minutes. I've realized that there's a little bit of a lag. So let's say you go in here and make an edit to one of these markers. Check your website in like 5-10 minutes and it should be fully updated, because it's got to go through the Google servers and all of that. Okay, so now I embedded the code on a testing server just to see how it looks. So as you can see, this first initial view is that setting that you set called default view. This is how it's going to look when the user gets to your website. So if you want to test it out, you could just click on the icons, make sure everything's working, the driving directions. Here's your shape tool. Pretty cool. So at any moment you can click this button right here. This opens up all your layers. And so here's your driving directions. You could turn that off. You can go in here and turn this on, off. So the user actually is going to have a lot of functionality to be able to turn stuff on and off if it gets in the way. And there's a share button and full screen button. Really, really useful. And I really hope that this video has helped you understand all the features that you can use Google My Maps for. So if you like this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to this channel for more tutorials like this. Thanks. Again, this is Mark from Wiki Design.